Her world is about to change in ways no one expected. At the heart of the ranch, where love and struggle always find a way to meet, a secret is about to surface. A secret so powerful that it could shake not only Amy's life but the entire Heartland family. Season 19 begins with a revelation that raises more questions than answers. And it all starts with one shocking discovery: Amy Fleming is pregnant. The new season of Heartland opens not with fanfare, but with quiet moments. The familiar rolling fields stretch out under the morning sun, the horses grazing peacefully, and the ranch carrying its timeless rhythm. At first glance, nothing has changed. Amy is still at the center of this world, working with the horses, guiding her daughter Lyndy, and finding strength in the simple yet powerful life she has built. But beneath this calm surface, something unexpected is stirring. From the very beginning, the audience is reminded of everything Amy has been through. She has faced love, loss, heartbreak, and healing. After Ty's tragic passing, viewers watched her learn how to move forward, how to raise Lyndy with courage, and how to keep the ranch alive in honor of the people who came before her. Season after season, Amy has been the rock not just of her family, but of Heartland itself. Yet this new season refuses to let her stay in the comfort of the life she has rebuilt. Instead, it presents her with a surprise that could change everything. A pregnancy she did not expect. The first hints come subtly. A scene shows Amy moving slower than usual, pausing as if to catch her breath. There's a close-up of her face as she sits quietly on the porch, her expression somewhere between confusion and worry. The camera lingers on her, giving the audience the sense that something is not quite right. In another moment, Lyndy asks a simple question that hits harder than expected. "Mom, are you okay?" Amy brushes it off with a smile, but the weight in her eyes tells a different story. As the episode unfolds, the focus shifts to the family gathering around the dinner table. Lou is busy talking about her plans, Jack is telling one of his wise, yet stubborn stories, and Tim is as blunt as ever. On the surface, it's another ordinary night in Heartland, but the camera keeps cutting back to Amy, quieter than usual, pushing her food around her plate. This subtle detail builds tension. Without words, something is coming, and the audience feels it. And then, in a private scene later that night, the truth is revealed. Amy sits alone, holding a small pregnancy test in her hands. The silence is deafening. There is no dramatic music, no grand announcement, just a moment of pure, raw shock. Her eyes well with tears, not from joy or sadness alone, but from the storm of emotions crashing inside her. The woman who has already faced so much is now staring at a future she did not see coming. This single moment sets the stage for the entire season. Because Amy's surprise pregnancy is not just about her, it's about how this revelation will ripple through the entire Heartland family. Jack, who has always protected Amy like a daughter, will surely feel the weight of responsibility. Lou, who often struggles to balance her own life with her role as sister, will be full of questions. And Tim, with his fiery nature, will bring his own perspective whether Amy is ready for it or not. The first section of the episode doesn't rush into answers. Instead, it builds atmosphere, letting the audience feel the calm before the storm. Every glance, every silence, every unspoken word is layered with tension. By the time Amy finally whispers to herself, "What am I going to do?" the audience is completely hooked. This isn't just another story about life at the ranch. This is about change, about family, and about the questions that come when life takes a turn you never expected. The truth does not stay hidden for long. What begins as a secret Amy holds close to her heart soon becomes too heavy to carry alone. The camera lingers on her as she paces across her bedroom late at night, the glow of the lamp outlining her figure against the quiet ranch house. Her hands tremble as she holds the small test once again, staring at it as if it might suddenly change its answer. A knock comes at the door, soft, gentle, almost hesitant. It's Jack. Jack has always had a way of sensing when something is wrong. His voice is calm but firm, the voice of a man who has carried his family through storms of his own. "Amy, talk to me. What's going on?" For a moment, she doesn't respond. The silence stretches, filled with the sound of her uneven breathing. Then, with a crack in her voice, she finally speaks. I'm pregnant, Jack. The words hang in the air, heavy and unshakable. The old rancher doesn't answer right away. The audience sees the flicker in his eyes, shock, confusion, maybe even fear. He takes a slow step forward, his hand resting gently on Amy's shoulder. It is not anger that defines him in this moment, but concern. Jack knows the weight of what this means, not just for Amy but for the whole family. The next morning, the news begins to ripple outward. Amy had hoped for more time, but secrets at Heartland rarely stay hidden. Lou is the first to notice her sister's quiet tension. During breakfast, Amy barely touches her plate, and Lou presses her as only a sister can. Amy, something's wrong. Tell me the truth. The audience watches the push and pull between them. The way Amy's silence speaks louder than words, until finally Lou's eyes widen as she realizes what's happening. You're pregnant? She whispers, her tone a mixture of disbelief and curiosity. What follows is not a chorus of joy or celebration. Instead, the room fills with unanswered questions. Who is the father? What does this mean for Amy's life, her daughter, and the legacy of the ranch? Lou tries to be supportive, but her practical side cannot help but spill out. She worries about responsibility, about stability, about how the family will adjust. Jack, protective as always, cuts through her anxious words with a simple truth. Right now, Amy needs us. That's what matters. But the calm doesn't last long. Tim storms in, as blunt as ever. He's not one to dance around the truth, and when he hears the news, his reaction is explosive. His voice rises, his frustration boiling over. How could this happen? Amy, do you realize what this means? The scene captures the collision of personalities: Tim's anger, Lou's cautious concern, Jack's steady strength, and Amy's own silent storm. Meanwhile, Lyndy, innocent and curious, senses the shift in the house. She looks up at her mother with wide eyes and asks the question no one is ready to answer. Am I going to have a little brother or sister? Her words pierce through the tension, softening the scene for just a moment. The adults fall silent, the weight of her innocence cutting deeper than any argument could. The reveal does more than spark conflict, it reshapes the family dynamic. Everyone is left wondering what this new chapter will bring. For Amy, it's not just about carrying a child. It's about facing the memories of the past, the love she lost, and the strength she will need to carry on. For Jack, it's about protecting the family he has already sacrificed so much for. For Lou, it's about balancing her sister's choices with her own worries. And for Tim, it's about confronting his own failures as a father and grandfather. The audience feels every layer of this moment. It's raw, complicated, and deeply human. The reveal is not just shocking, it's a spark that ignites questions no one is ready to answer. The ranch, once a place of comfort and stability, is now the stage for uncertainty. And as the episode closes this section, the camera pulls back to show the wide-open fields of Heartland, a reminder that even in the calmest landscapes, storms can rise without warning. The silence after Amy's confession does not last. Like ripples on still water, the shock spreads outward, touching every corner of the ranch and every member of the family. Questions begin to swirl, whispered in hallways, carried in worried glances, and spoken in heated tones when emotions run too high to contain. Lou is the first to demand answers. She corners Amy in the kitchen, her voice low but urgent. You need to tell me the truth, Amy. Who is the father? Amy's eyes drop, her silence louder than any denial. For Lou, silence is the most troubling answer of all. She's practical, logical, and used to facing problems head-on. But here, faced with her sister's refusal to explain, she feels powerless, and that powerlessness begins to look like anger. Jack, meanwhile, is a fortress. He doesn't press Amy with questions, but his eyes show the weight of everything he isn't saying. He knows what this could mean. The ranch has always been a place of responsibility, and Amy has always been the one to carry more than her share. Jack worries not because he doubts her strength, but because he knows how heavy this new burden could be. He has seen her struggle before, and this time, he fears it may be too much. Tim refuses to let the matter rest. His frustration grows sharper with every passing day. In one scene, he slams the barn door behind him, his voice cutting through the quiet. "Amy, you can't keep this from us. We deserve to know the truth." His tone is raw, almost desperate, but beneath his anger lies fear. Fear that history will repeat itself. Fear that Amy, just like Marian before her, will face a future of hard choices and pain. Even Lyndy begins to notice the tension. Children see more than adults realize, and Lyndy's innocence becomes a mirror reflecting the confusion in the house. She asks simple questions that none of the adults know how to answer. Why is everyone fighting? Why are you sad, Mom? These questions pierce Amy's heart in a way nothing else can. She wants to shield her daughter from the storm, but the storm has already rolled in. The ranch itself feels different. The quiet mornings carry a heaviness, the laughter around the table replaced by wary silences. Every choice Amy makes is watched, weighed, and questioned not out of cruelty, but out of fear. The family wants to protect her, but in their own ways, they make her feel cornered. The tension grows not only from the pregnancy itself, but from what it represents. For Amy, this isn't just about becoming a mother again. It's about confronting the ghosts of her past, the grief she carries for Ty, and the uncertainty of raising a child without clear answers about the future. For the family, it's about their own struggles, Jack holding onto stability, Lou balancing her responsibilities, Tim wrestling with regret. Each of them sees Amy's pregnancy through their own wounds, their own fears. The questions continue to grow, pressing down on Amy until she can barely breathe. Who will stand by her when the baby comes? How will Lyndy cope with the changes? What will this mean for the future of Heartland? The episode lingers on these doubts, not rushing to resolve them but letting them hang in the air like an unanswered prayer. And just when the family feels stretched to its breaking point, the writer's at a twist. A mysterious phone call interrupts one of the arguments. Amy answers it in private, her expression shifting from shock to guarded secrecy. The audience doesn't hear what's said on the other end, but Amy's trembling hands tell the story. This pregnancy is not just an accident of fate. It is tied to something or someone that no one else knows about yet. The unanswered questions only multiply. The family is left staring at Amy, waiting for an explanation, while the audience is left staring at the screen, hungry for the truth. This is not just a pregnancy. It is a storm that threatens to reshape Heartland itself. The storm may have shaken the walls of Heartland, but storms don't last forever. Slowly, through the cracks of conflict, light begins to break through. After days of silence and tense conversations, the family gathers once more in the familiar warmth of the living room. The fire crackles in the hearth, casting long shadows across the faces of those who carry so much history together. For the first time since Amy's revelation, there is no shouting, no accusations, only the heavy quiet of people learning how to listen. Amy finally finds her voice, her hands folded in her lap, her gaze steady though her eyes shine with tears. "I didn't plan this," she begins softly, "and I don't have all the answers. But this baby, it's part of me now, and I know I have to find the strength to move forward." Her words are fragile yet powerful, carrying a truth that no one in the room can deny. Jack is the first to respond. His voice, steady and warm, cuts through the silence. "Amy, you've carried this family before, through more than anyone should ever have to. You don't have to do it alone this time. Not as long as I'm here." The weight in his tone, the firmness of his promise, pulls the tension down, grounding everyone in what matters most. Family, Lou's expression softens. She still has questions, still fears the unknown, but she reaches across the table to take Amy's hand. For the first time, her worry transforms into quiet support. "We'll figure it out together," she says. Even Tim, still restless and unsettled, lowers his voice. His words are rough around the edges, but honest. "I may not always say it right, but I don't want you to go through this without me in your corner." And then, in the middle of it all, Lyndy climbs into her mother's lap. She wraps her small arms around Amy and whispers, "It's okay, Mom. We'll be okay." It is a simple line, but it lands like a promise. For Amy, that hug is a reminder of why she fights, why she endures, and why she must embrace this unexpected path. The episode doesn't offer all the answers it never intended to. Instead, It closes on a note of resilience. We see Amy walking through the fields at dawn, the horses running freely in the background. The rising sun paints the ranch in gold, a symbol of new beginnings. The camera follows her steady steps, her hand brushing over her stomach, a look of determination on her face. The uncertainty is still there, but so is something stronger. Hope. The narrator closes with a whisper of what's to come. In the heart of every storm lies the chance for growth. In every ending, the seed of a beginning. This season, Heartland reminds us that no matter how heavy the burden, family, love, and courage will always carry us home. Peace at Heartland is fragile. The warmth of reconciliation doesn't last long, because beneath the surface, the family is still divided. The pregnancy is no longer just Amy's secret, it has become everyone's concern. And with that concern comes conflict. The first clash happens between Lou and Tim. Lou, always practical, worries about Amy's ability to manage the ranch. Lyndy, and now a newborn. She voices her doubts at the kitchen table, her words sharp but meant as caution. Amy needs to think about what's best for Lyndy. She can't carry everything at once. Tim slams his fist against the wooden surface, his temper flaring. Don't lecture Amy like she's a child, Lou. She's stronger than you think. Their voices rise, cutting through the stillness of the ranch house like thunder. Jack intervenes, his patience thinning. He has raised his family through decades of storms, but this one feels heavier than most. His voice, low but firm, cuts through the chaos. Enough. This isn't about what any of us want, it's about Amy. And right now, she needs unity, not arguments. His authority silences the room, but only for a moment. The disagreements don't vanish. They simply retreat, waiting to erupt again. Amy, caught in the center, feels the weight of every word. She stands quietly in the doorway, listening as the people she loves most fight over her future. The camera captures her expression, a mixture of sorrow and strength, as she realizes the truth. Her pregnancy has become more than a personal challenge. It's a mirror reflecting every unresolved tension in the family. Later, in the barn, another confrontation unfolds. Tim corners Amy, his voice quieter this time but still edged with fear. You remind me of your mother, you know. Marian thought she could handle everything too. And look where it got her. His words sting, cutting deep into wounds Amy thought had healed. For a moment, she turns away, unable to face the shadow of her mother's fate. But then, she lifts her head, her voice steady. I'm not Mom, Dad, and I refuse to live in fear of what might happen. This exchange is more than father and daughter clashing, its history repeating itself, but also breaking free. Tim's fear is rooted in the past, while Amy's courage is shaped by the present. The audience sees the generational struggle, the way old scars haunt the choices of today. The family dinners become battlegrounds of silence. Lou pushes for plans, Jack preaches patience, Tim warns of dangers, and Amy holds her ground. Lyndy watches it all, her small eyes wide, her innocence caught in the crossfire. The ranch, once a sanctuary, feels like a pressure cooker ready to burst, but even in conflict, there are glimpses of love. After one particularly heated argument, Jack finds Amy outside under the stars. He doesn't offer solutions, only a quiet reminder. Family fights because they care. Don't mistake their fear for a lack of love. His words carry the wisdom of a man who has seen it all. And in that moment, Amy leans on the strength of her grandfather, if only for a breath. This section of the story doesn't resolve the conflict, it intensifies it. Viewers see the cracks widening, the bonds tested, and the emotions raw. Every character is forced to confront not just Amy's pregnancy, but their own fears, regrets, and hopes. The question remains, will these conflicts tear the Heartland family apart, or forge them into something stronger? The answer, for now, remains uncertain. But one thing is clear, Amy's pregnancy is no longer just a twist in her life. It is the spark that forces every member of Heartland to face the truths they've been running from. After storms of anger and nights of silence, the first signs of healing arrive quietly, like dawn breaking over the ranch. The conflict hasn't vanished, But something softer begins to take root: understanding. Heartland has always been a place where pain and love live side by side, and now those two forces begin to weave together again. One morning, Amy rises early, long before anyone else is awake. The golden light spills across the fields, and she leads Spartan out of the stable. With every gentle step, with every soft brush of her hand against his mane, she finds calm. Horses have always been her language, her way of making sense of the world when words fail. As Spartan nuzzles her hand, the camera captures Amy's quiet smile, the first true smile since her revelation. It's a moment that tells the audience, no matter how uncertain the future is, Amy still carries strength within her. The family notices the change. Lou, who has spent so much time worrying, sits with Amy on the porch. Instead of questions, she offers presence. "I might not always say it right," Lou admits, "but I'll be here. You're my sister, and I love you." That's enough for now. It's not a solution, but it's a step toward peace. For Amy, it's a reminder that support doesn't always need to come in the form of answers. It can simply be love. Even Tim begins to soften. In a rare quiet scene, he finds Amy working in the barn and offers her a mug of coffee decaf with an awkward smile. He doesn't apologize, not directly, but his gesture speaks louder than words. Amy looks at him, eyes filled with both pain and forgiveness, and for once, they share silence, not as enemies, but as father and daughter finding common ground.